On this week's episode, we have Natija Cave. She is just the most ethereal goddess, TikTok channeling magic woman, and she is gracing us with with her presence today, giving us the wisdom about what it really is to just be and to show up in humanness and to be in your power and to navigate really difficult topics in life. And I think this is easily one of our more intense episodes, but she guides us through such an incredible conversation with humor and honesty, and I'm just so excited for you guys to dive in. So please get into a comfortable seated position. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. There is no right or wrong way to show up in this moment. Take a deep breath in the nose and let it out with a sigh through the mouth. And I invite you to come as you are and take what you need. Thank you so much, Natija, for being here today. It is such an honor. I am a fan before we became mutuals, watching you on TikTok. You are pumping out so much amazing, incredible messages, and you're always so spot on. And I am honored, floored, beside myself to have you here today. I feel like over the last couple weeks, you and I have connected, and I feel like we've become friends, and it's so special, and I'm so honored to have you in the space. Thank you for blessing us with your presence today.
Thank you so much, Lexi and Maddie. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm geeking. I'm a little nervous here because I haven't done a podcast in so long. And yes, we absolutely have connected so deeply. And I'm so grateful for womanhood. It's been so healing for me on my journey, and I just love women. Yeah. I just love women and vulnerable conversations and everything. Yeah, especially as I'm talking to you right now, I would have loved to be in a vibration of everything's great, but real life. Yeah. And things have been a bit overwhelming. So I'm just excited. It's going to get real. I guess the divine wanted me to be raw.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. That's the only way it should be, especially with this intention of this podcast and this conversation. It's show up with what you are, show up with who you are, and be in your fullest. And if that's not I'm so great and everything feels so good, that's okay. We have space and bandwidth for that. That's what, at least to me, true sisterhood looks like, is show up with what you have. It is okay. We are here to support and hold each other through that. And that's all it should be.
Yes. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Because it's going to be real.
Yeah. Because it's going to get real.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, when did you know that you are magic? When did you know in your life? When did that come about for you in this place of oh, my life is going to be different than other people? And when did you find that acceptance within yourself?
So I was always into astrology, my whole life, but I didn't feel I guess my personality actually growing up was a bit unique. I grew up a lot with wondering if something was wrong with me. I always felt I had a little extra of something, an extra sensitivity, an extra vulnerability. I grew up and people saw me as the class clown, and I couldn't focus. And I guess I alluded it to if you have to label it as a neurodivergence or something of that sort. And then I was really into astrology, but I didn't feel obviously my other friends would be into it, but I didn't feel I didn't know how extra I was into it versus other people at that time. But then when it really, I guess, hit when I recognized okay, the spirituality thing it's much more. It was during college. In college, I was big party girl and everything, struggling. But I had a friend introduce me to meditation and vision boards and law of attraction. And she was just and that became like a hobby that just me and her would do. And it was very therapeutic for me at the time. Like I just saw it as we do guided meditations and everything. And then I started to go down the rabbit hole of like Pinterest. And I tell people all the time, I genuinely do not know how I got my hands on my first tarot deck. It is bizarre. I cannot tell you. I don't remember the moment. All I know, like it's like crazy. Like all I know, I don't know where I bought the deck, anything. But is when that deck touched my hands, like it just made sense. I don't know how to say, like it just made sense. Like, you know how people, like I did study the meanings raw dog, not like, I didn't even read, I'm not a reading instructions person, anything, but I would like Google as I go, but I can't, like it's like, I don't remember the moment of getting the deck. I just remember doing readings. And I would do it like privately for like everyone in my dorm at the time, like knew I did it. So I would just do it for friends. I would watch other people on YouTube, but I never considered ever doing it online. Like it never was a thing. And it was just something I did. And it was then the crystals, and I started looking at, you know, different stores, but that's when I knew that I was just like, okay, this is something that's going to be a part of my life, but it was still kind of like in a self-care. Like even the readings I did was therapeutic. Like it wasn't, you know, but then, you know, so it was like about 3 years that I would do tarot. And I felt like my spirit guides were letting me ease into things. Like they always knew the plan. I was like, I always say if the, you know, source or God or, you know, my guides came down themselves and told me at 19 years old that, okay, by the way, this is what you're going to do. I'd be like, absolutely not. Nope, that's not what's going to happen. I was in college, studying to be a PR, going into entertainment business. Like I had a plan, and that Divine's plan was more. But basically when I recognized like, okay, this is something a little extra. This is real extra. Like it was already extra. Then I was like, this is real extra, is when my vision started to kick in. And that was something very different. And that's like, okay, so this was around early 2019. And I say visions, like your subconscious prepares you when there's big shifts. So a lot of people, when they go through times of, because everything is your subconscious mind, okay? We only use so much of our brain, honestly, in a very little amount. If people's brain was to activate. I also want to say, I don't think that my abilities are anything, I think it's special that I use it, but I don't think it's something that other people don't have. I think that if you are, the second you open yourself up to a topic, you enter that world. It's like, let's say I was in the medical industry. The second I opened myself up to the medical industry, I'm in a different world. You know, I don't know what it's like to work in a hospital. I have different terminology. I'm using more of my brain for this world, you know? So that's what that's what it is. I was meditating and everything. So my subconscious mind was preparing me for this massive shift in my life and letting me know that, hey, you are approaching an ending, which is a tool that I use now in general. I know that when it's happening right now, whenever I start lucid dreaming like that and predicting things like supernaturally, it probably means a big change is coming in my life, and my vessel's slowly being prepared for it. So the first time that happened, it was such a weird time. It was like, I started reconnecting with people from years ago. That was one of the first things. And then I started having these dreams. And the dreams would be like the next day. It was really weird. Like the next day I would dream, and it's like, it would happen, but I wasn't telling anyone. Like I wasn't telling anyone because I was still processing, and I was like, huh? And I would like predict the next moment that would happen. And it happened for like a month. And I was not telling people that this was happening. I was really just in my own world. And I was just like, okay, like I was psyching myself out that this was happening. And then the divine started showing me friends at the time that would no longer be in my life. And they were showing me certain truth. And it wasn't like drama, but it was like, I was still attached to these people. And I was living in California at the time, and they were slowly saying, hey, you're going to be releasing this life, which I did not plan to release that life. Like not in my physical. It was like, I wasn't a time in my life where I was in limbo, but at that time, nowhere did I decide that I wanted to leave California. I was very attached to those friends, and they would show me like, and it would play out exactly the way I was dreaming it, you know, and they were showing me so much information. And then finally I had this breakdown of crying after like a month. And I went to my friend who's super she was like not into spirituality at all. Like she knew I did readings and everything, but she's very skeptical, very Aquarius air sign. Like she's in the medical industry, like super science person. It needs to be written in a book. And I remember running to her house. I remember this moment, and I was crying to her, and I was saying, listen, girl, I don't know how to explain to you that these things are happening to me. And I don't cry like that. She had never seen me. She was like, okay, Natty, calm down, calm down. And I was telling her certain things, and she was like, okay, I believe you. Yeah. Like literally that happened. She was like, I believe you. Yeah. And from there, it was like, so a lot of the visions I was having was, like I said, preparing myself. It wasn't so much like tell other people. So I got used to it. I was just like, okay, this is something extra. She was kind of the only person that kind of knew about it. I still was not in any spiritual community or anything. Like everyone around me was normal, for the most part. Right. So I was like, okay, that's a raven. I get visions now. And my life started to become a tornado because, like I said, a lot of people started leaving my life. Yeah. I was forced, a lot of healing was triggered in me. Originally when I went to LA, I was kind of running away in a sense from a lot of family problems and stuff that I never faced and I very much needed therapy for. Yeah. And basically, yeah. So I got back, and I feel like I have to tell, I know the story is kind of long, but I have to tell this part of it because this is really when, this was like something. So at that point, even though all the signs were showing me, you need to move back home, because this is another thing. There is no spirituality, and I say this without healing. Can't happen. Especially, I think, for my journey, because even though I didn't intend to, I was supposed to read for people worldwide. Yes. Which means that there was a lot in high school and everything, and maybe we'll talk about that a little later, but I went through a lot of racial attacks. I went through deep trauma, like, you know, with men. I went through so much, and I didn't know that my journey was going to lead me to, again, talking to people, all really life coaching and spiritual coaching on a deep psychological level, to talking to people all over the world. And if I still had all that gunk in me, I wouldn't be able to perform in that way. So basically the divine was planning to heal me in the place that hurt me, which a lot of people say you can't heal in that place, but it was the right pressure needed for me at the time. And I will just say everyone's journey is very different. My journey genuinely has felt like I've had, like, something else was controlling the tides. I will say, like, something else, like the force was controlling. Even at the time I was questioning God, I was questioning a lot of things, even with the tarot cards, but there were just certain things. So I had this, I still did not fully plan to come back to New York, even though all signs were coming to New York. Yeah. And I won't forget, it was right before COVID. Right before COVID, I forget the timelines a little bit, but it could have been, no, it was right before. It was like when COVID had just started, which a lot of people had their spiritual awakenings at that time. I was at this job, like when the divine does not want you to do something, I was getting block after block after block with jobs. Like it did not matter. Like I was getting the crappiest jobs. And then if I got a job, it was in a weird area. It was just a mess. And I got this job and I didn't like the area. I was so far away from my dorm. I also didn't drive. It was a mess of a job, and they weren't paying me whatever. Yeah. So I was there, but my Taurus stubborn. I was like, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick it out. And I remember the day perfectly. I remember having kind of an argument. My best, my friend at the time, she was my spiritual friend, that I had, my closest one. She was quite intuitive. She was telling me, girl, I'm sorry. I think, like, she was having these really weird visions of me, and she was trying to tell me, hey, just be careful when you're going out and everything. My sister, who doesn't really, she told me, I had a weird dream about you. Like, generally they were dreaming about me in car crashes and stuff. And they were like, be careful when you're going out, which the divine was trying to say, you got to stop. Like, I wasn't in the party life anymore, but you really got to chill out. You got to calm down. My mom I had a big fight, and she was like crying. She was like, I want you to come home. Like, please come home and everything. I know, like, whatever. I don't want to take your dream away. I know how much you love it, but come home. We'll figure something out. And it was really interesting because normally she lets me do whatever, but I was COVID at the time. The people didn't know what was happening. And I said, no, I'm not coming home. Never forget this day in my life. I had someone that I didn't talk to in like 10 years from like middle school. She reached out to me, DM'd me, probably right after the phone call with my mom. And she said, hey, God is telling you to come home. I don't talk to this girl.
Right.
I've never talked, like, I don't talk to this girl at all. And she said, I know this is really weird, but come home.
Yeah.
So like, for me, a part of my journey was just, like I said, having certain miraculous things that happened to me that I was like, okay, there are other beings. There's something else guiding me. And then, you know, probably like I came home. It was a lot of healing because I was around my family for a very long time, since 4 years. It was hard. It was a lot of shadow work, but I also was open to shadow work at that time. I had a great mentor that the divine also brought in my life. And in terms of doing TikTok, probably like 2 months later after coming home, I had a friend who also like got readings. Like, they would pay me for readings and everything, but still only family friends who Spirit is like telling me to tell you about the mediumship thing about, I know I've been talking for a while. I'm like, oh my God.
Let it out. Let it out. We are here for this message. Let it out.
A part of them validating I had spiritual abilities in this time when I was just doing readings for my friends. I had a friend who I was doing a reading for her, and it was the first time I felt mediumship within me. And I hadn't really heard voices like that before, but I was doing a regular reading for her normally. And I was just like, I started hearing this male voice. And I was just like, what in the world? And I was just like, okay. And I felt that it was her dad, and I was just like, I think your dad has something to say to you. And I was just like, is he alive? At that point, she thought he was alive. Next day, she called me and she said, my dad was actually passed away at the time we were doing that reading.
Wow.
Yeah, she told me her dad had passed away, and she didn't know that because he was incarcerated.
Oh my gosh.
So the next day she found out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he had like just passed that day or what. I don't remember. It had to be that. I think it was that day. And then it was like, and then after whatever, my other friend's dad died, and he came through and like told me a very specific song that only relates to her. It was the same friend that didn't really believe in things. So these were all happening before I even did any TikTok or anything. And then it was like all leading up. Then I was chilling on the couch watching The Bachelor with one of my friends, and she goes, again, struggling with work. Even when I went to New York, still didn't get the point. I joined to do real estate. Don't hate real estate. Have nothing to do in real estate, but I joined to do every job. I was an administration assistant. I was in real estate.
Totally.
And my friend told me, she was like, hey, you know, I see all these people online on like TikTok, like, mind you, I had already kind of built up a weird, I think it was 10, 20K on TikTok because I was actually doing comedy skits. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh my God.
I was doing like, I was like doing like, so I grew up I grew up in entertainment, kind of low key. Like I was doing television acting.
Got it.
I was on Nickelodeon for like 2 seconds growing up, but like I always had a nudge that I would be in entertainment in some way because like I said, my personality, you know, was always like kind of different, like than everyone. So my mom put me in all these activities. So I was on TikTok and I knew that I could attract a following. I wasn't trying to, but I would do these comedy skits, these dance skits, but I don't even know where those, please don't resurface those videos are. They're hidden. Like crazy
I wouldn't
like,
air you out like that. I wouldn't do that to you.
I was at like 20K, you know, and then my friend was like, hey, why don't you like try making a tarot video? And I was just like, okay, I have nothing to do tomorrow. Whatever, I don't care. We'll see. I don't care. Like literally that was my reaction. Like I didn't care at all. So and this was like mid-quarantine where casual. I think no one cared.
Right.
You know, the world was in a state. So I was like, I need something to do anyway. Like it was not an intention. So the next day I woke up, I did it. Again, it was just like this natural flow.
Yeah.
I didn't intend for anything to happen. It was not whatever.
Yeah.
I did it. I turned off the app, didn't go in the app for the rest of the day.
Right.
I think it was close to nighttime, but I went about my day.
Yeah.
Went to sleep, woke up with 50,000 followers.
Right.
And my phone was going off.
Yes.
My phone went off, and people were asking me, how do you charge my media? And I said, what the damn hell? So I said, okay. I didn't have a price to charge. I didn't have anything. And I said, what the hell? Right. And I said, okay, this is something happening now. Like, I was like, this is different. Yeah. Like, and I remember that video perfectly. Yes. Like, and I was like, okay, I came up with some number, and I was like, okay. I just told my sister this was happening. And I started doing these. I was still trying to hustle with the real estate, even though it was all clear signs to know. I was still going and crying at this real estate office because I wasn't getting any leads. Babe. And I didn't know I don't even know how I passed the real estate exam. I really don't know. I really, So finally, like, I was so exhausted. I'd come home late from the office at the real estate office, and I'd get all these like DMs, and I'd come home to do readings. Yeah. And then finally I started getting so much money that I was like, oh my God, I don't need to have a job. Like, and I took the risk, and my parents were terrified. They were petrified at the time. They were like, what the heck is happening? What do you mean? Where's this? Like, my mom's like, where's this money coming from? Like, she didn't understand. She was like, what are you doing online? Are you doing some OnlyFans? Like, what are you doing? She didn't understand. And I was like, because she was used to TikTok. Like, she was just like, what are you talking about? What is this? She's like, what do you mean you don't need a job? So she and my dad were having these very serious conversations with me. Like, what, like, it was terrifying for her. Of course. And that was it. I took the leap. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Yes. I guess this is what I do. And I'm praying to God that it is consistent. Yes. And it has been. I opened business, and I'm here. Yes. that's my story. That's the story. Yeah.
And that's how she knew she was magic, folks. Yeah.
That's how I knew. That was long, y'all. I said I was
It's going to be a journey. It's going to be a journey. It always is. There was a few themes that I was picking up throughout your beautiful journey up until this point. These ideas of like shame and rejection and isolation that comes with being a spiritual person, especially as you're navigating. And there's so many points in your story where you're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lean into the spirituality thing. Like, it's a hobby. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to do real estate. I'm going to do administrative. I'm going to have these side jobs, whatever, because that's what you're supposed to do. And then you just get made so uncomfortable until you actually move, Mm-hmm. And it's so resonant with so many different histories and journeys, and people telling me their stories of the same feelings of this isolation and rejection, and people leaving. Like, I always tell anyone that's kind of embarking on this spiritual journey, it's like, not everyone can come. And that's a hard truth. That's a hard truth. But at the same time, though, on the other side of the coin of that, it's like, yes, you may feel that loss, and you may be feeling like you're shedding the skin or the weight of these other people. As quickly as you're shedding, the spirit and the universe, your angels, your team, what have you, is ready to provide support, literally right there with the support. Like you were saying that you moved home to New York, but you had this amazing mentor come into your life. So I was like, you were shedding the skin of being in LA, and then you stepped back home, and yes, you're doing all this work in healing the shadow and the family wounds, but you still, the support is still there, and you find this mentor that shows up, and the community starts showing up for you. And like, I love all of the messages, because it's like spirit does not give up on you, which I freaking love to hear, because it's like, when you're being stubborn, you're being like, oh, I don't know, I don't think so, spirit is like, you're gonna get this message, babe. You're gonna hear me, babe. Like, you're gonna hear me, babe. Like, from the woodwork, from your mother to the lady at the grocery store to a book that you're reading, you're gonna get the message. And I just think that's it's so pertinent, and it's so beautiful, and it speaks to like yes, every spiritual journey is a little bit different, but at the end of the day, when I really drink it down, and I really like bring it down, it's very similar. There's a lot of similar themes of that isolation and that rejection and the support showing up in the nick of time, jobs not working out. I've had so many jobs, Natija. I've had so many jobs.
Girl.
It's just like, it's so silly to even think that I would like want to do those things. And like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like, I knew like within the first week of anything, I'd be like, this isn't for me. I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. And
I'm thinking I worked at a jewelry stand. It's like so many jobs, and this jewelry stand would get like attacked by like homeless people in Santa Monica. Like I went through, but I was determined. Yes. You're so determined. Yes. I'm like, because society tells you, and that's it benefits people, huh? Yes. Society tells you, oh, you need to stick it out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, stick it out. Like you need, like, and even my mom, like I said, was operating out of that fear. She was like, what do you talk? Like, go get a job. She's like, what do you talk? You know?
Totally.
But I do want to also say, like, it's not only spirit being open to me, I was open to spirit.
Yes.
And I want to make that clear. Like, I was open to the fact that, like, and I think that a lot came from, I was under pressure. I want to make this, like, my journey as fun and, you know, magical it seems. It was not easy. No. It was petrifying. It was hard. It was tears. I had the most uncomfortable conversations with my parents that I had never had in my entire life. It was a fight, and it was in a way where I think I needed, and I do say God, but I know God is source, the universe. I do not see God as like a gender. God's all genders.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
It was in a way where I was definitely in fire to the point that like I was surviving. I didn't know what was happening. I felt terrified and alone, that I needed something else. Yes. And that is the reason they say you need the faith of like a mustard seed, but I needed something. I was in a way of like, and what I think happens with people, it's like, this situation's very bad. I'm very aware of it. I feel like I'm in darkness. Yes. Therefore, I could either hate the world and become the darkness, or decide not to be here anymore. Right. Or I could really just believe that there is something else. Absolutely. And just could wake up and keep going. And in believing that there's something else and being open to spirituality, I was learning, deconditioning, I think, a lot of religious constructs, and learning that God is love. And it's like, the world needs more love, and the world needs, you know, faith and everything. And I learned that, you know, manifestation is real, prayer work, like all these different things. So it was kind of like me also agreeing, whether energetically signing my soul contract or agreeing to be here and also be a vessel of love and healing, which allowed me to not only go back home, but go back home in a different state than I left, which is like, I'm having these really uncomfortable conversations. And it's not like that for everyone. I want to make that clear. I'm not telling people to whatever. This is just my journey. But I'm grateful for the bit of openness that my parents had, which I know, and I have so much compassion for some parents really are not there. But with that openness, I was able to have these conversations and be like, this is not easy, but I love you. And I understand that love is not easy, and I'm willing to cry and I'm willing to do this and also work on actual forgiveness. And I'm so grateful for, and I had to find my dad the other day, like still, like whatever, but it's like, you can't escape. Spirituality is definitely not escaping. I just want to make it clear. It's not right. It's right. I think life is not a glamorous journey. I think everything's spiritual, but everything is how you approach it. And I'm on this journey because I said, if I'm going to be on this earth, this is the way I decide to approach it. Absolutely. And
absolutely. I feel that in so many ways, especially about like you kind of get pushed into a corner, and you have to realize like I was there. I think 2021 for me was a really hard year where I was like, I'm going to commit to my spiritual journey. I'm going to commit to my Reiki practice, and I'm going to forsake everything else. And it was the poorest of times. It was the most suffering of times. And you're just sitting there like, okay, I just have to hold the faith. I just have to hold the faith. And obviously, like, sometimes it's not an overnight thing, and you are having to face these traumas and this work, but you also, there is an agreement that you're making to say, like, I'm doing this, like, I'm holding on to a vision that no one else can see. And And I have to be okay with that, because I know for me, like, my community is everything, and having the support of my community, it means more to me than most things. But like in that time, it was very isolating, and it was very like, okay, like I look crazy right now to everyone, and I kind of feel a little crazy to myself, but I know that eventually, like, the work that I'm putting in here, and the hard and the darkness and everything that I'm dealing with will eventually come to fruition, or it will, you know, start to bloom into something else. And like, I know, like, I look back on that time, not necessarily with shame or guilt, but like, girl, like, what were we doing? You know, like, what was the point?
Yeah.
But there's purpose to that. And I love that you've taken all of the things that have been thrown at you and decided that you're going to move with love, and you're going to move in healing, and you're going to take these things and you're going to transmute this stuff and make it work, and make it and be in flow with it. I know I'm reading your book. I was 21 Tales Later. I love. I was so like moved by all of the things that have happened to you. And we had discussed it previously to reading it, and how you said, like, if this is what life is about, like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. But the fact that you still like took what was given, all the bricks that were thrown at you, and you made foundation out of it, like, that speaks to your spirit. That speaks to your energy.
Yeah. It's interesting as you were saying that. I think about sometimes I don't like titles, and, even in the spiritual community, that's been coming up recently about how certain language and conversation can make things so complicated, and almost like, quote unquote, I hate to say regular people, or people who are not into spirituality can't even understand. And I don't like that, because life is a spiritual experience. And really and truly, before my quote unquote spiritual awakening, my spiritual awakening was just one awakening. We go through so many awakenings in life.
Yes.
So many awakenings. And like going, into some of the contents in my book, my first one of my first awakenings, and I'm sure as I continue my journey and my mind decides to dig up other healing I may remember before, but my first awakening to, I think, my existence on and what it meant as being a Black woman, being Black, was in my first relationship at 14, when I basically, like, and I say this because I still feel that little girl inside of me, where I remember at the time, like, there was a sense that, I know, again, school is not a safe space for a lot of people, but my school was a pretty nice school. Like, it was diverse. It wasn't in a horrible neighborhood. It was like a very medium place. Like, my high school was nice compared to my middle school. And I was on sports team. Like, everyone got along. Everyone was great. And I remember, so my first boyfriend was Albanian. He was Albanian. And it was also a big deal. Like, it was a really interesting feeling, because I'm 14 years old. I didn't even allow, like, I had went through this transition of like not feeling pretty at all. I basically like was like experienced depression very young at like around 11, but I really struggled with body image. I was going through a lot of like, I had PTSD, a lot of anxiety from what was going on at home. So that's how my mom started putting me in my programs, like basically outside of school, a lot of clubs and acting to help me because I was very, very timid. And she put me in MMA. So I was, I lost a lot of weight, around 14. And that's also a really weird time, because another awakening was like, I guess, body image and everything too. But I had lost a lot of weight. And for the first time, I was like, okay, I felt kind of pretty, and I was trying to understand what feeling pretty was. It was a really awkward stage. I'm also a freshman in high school, and my first boyfriend, he was older than me and on the football team. So I didn't have an awareness of like, I like felt kind of pretty, but like still like I didn't feel enough for him at the time, or any of them. But it was kind of like I was getting attention from this guy, but I don't remember at the time like the whole race aspect, because he's white passing, but I don't remember. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I was naive to it or what, but I didn't think I was also exposed to a lot of like white environments or different environments because of my mom's job. So like I had a lot of like white children that I would go to their house all the time, and we'd go to dinner and everything because my mom was like very close with their parents. So like I just wasn't, I didn't think it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, I didn't think the race aspect was a big deal.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was older than the football team, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm getting attention. It was like, I felt like I'm getting attention from this guy and whatever. And he took interest in me. And that was my first actual boyfriend. It was a big, like, that was shocking for me. But I felt like I knew on some level just from being in Brooklyn and being raised in South Brooklyn, and it is an immigrant melting pot, which in one way it's a great thing because everyone understands the struggle, and in another way it's a not so great thing sometimes because people still are so deep in their values from the country that they come from. And that includes my parents who are Caribbean background too. They also had very small minds. I want to make it clear. Like some of the first places I experienced any racism, talks about my hair was in my household before I even stepped out, because my mom is Venezuelan. My mom's way more mixed Venezuelan, like mixed with white, like way more mixed. And my dad is, they're both Guyanese, but my dad is, he has more African features, like more African roots. So like my aunts and everything would do my hair and they would say like, oh, you have hard hair because your dad, like all types of stuff. So just wanted to put that in there. But yeah, there's a lot of those mindsets still when you're in a place that has a lot of immigrant values. So I felt like we knew, and even for him, he knew and we knew, and we'd have a discussion that like his parents wouldn't be very accepting. But I also don't think that any of us were thinking, like we weren't thinking of getting married. We just liked each other. It was like whatever. But it's like we knew that our parents wouldn't be, mine would have been okay, but his would be like more strict about it.
I see.
What we didn't expect was the reaction in school. That was very strange for us. So, and that was my awakening to, oh, like this is a problem. Like that was my awakening to like society sees this, like kids my age, because in school you think like, oh my God, like we're surrounded by our kids. It's a free for all, you know, like this is where you're not allowed to have a boyfriend. You can have a boyfriend. This is where you know, unless you have your drama. So I would see all the time, you know, my Black guy friends have a Spanish girlfriend or a white girlfriend or Asian girl and have no problem. Everyone's dabbing them up. Everyone hypes them up, whatever. And that was my awakening of like, I remember the first time we walked through the halls holding hands and everyone's head turned like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
I remember that. And I was like, what's going on? And then I also remember, you know, the guys on the football team started yelling jungle fever.
Oh my God.
To him. And I had never heard that term.
Oh my God.
I was so naive. Like, there was an awakening to like, I was just like, I've never heard this term.
Yeah.
You know, and all types of racial jokes that I had never been exposed to. I was like, what is happening?
Totally.
And the football team would like mess with me. We had discussed, I was sexually assaulted, if you want to, or harassed. Because the football team, they would like corner me sometimes, someone on the football team. And they would tell me if I think that I'm better than people because I'm with a white guy. And they would like corner me and harass me. And like that for me was at 14 years old. Yeah. And that was on top of like the pressures that he was having at one point. It was horrible. At one point, his parents found out and was threatening to send him back to Albania.
Wow.
It was bad. Yeah, his mom had seen us outside after practice one time and she was absolutely livid.
Wow.
So I'm like shaking even telling this story. And it was bad. Him and his dad got in a bad fight. It was horrible. And I lost a lot of friends at that time too. I'm trying to think. Another thing also was basically, and it wasn't saying like he was a peach at the time. He was not a peach, but he also was like, we were just 15. Like we, it was like, I personally just felt so worthless. And there was a girl that also there was a weird situation where I'm like trying to think telling this part of it because I'm like, oh God. But it's true, it does happen, and I feel like it's important to share. I had a friend at the time who I thought was a friend. Because I was on the lacrosse team, he was on the football team, she was on the lacrosse team, and he had taken interest in her before. She had no interest in him at all. I will say that she was white because I do think it's important, and she was my close friend. And the second we started dating, she had interest in him and was kind of like plotting, kind of like to get him to like choose her again. So that was also a very difficult awakening for me, because right after, if he was cheating, who knows, but right after we broke up, he got with her. And everyone was applauding that relationship. And he had told me that his parents, the truth is, the harsh reality, would prefer a white girl than a black girl any day. And he had told me that. So I think my point in telling this story is like we go through many awakenings. And at that point, like that was like, I say it's an awakening because I no longer could operate like a normal teenager. It was not going to happen. I no longer, like the way that I think everyone else could just focus on the high school activities and just focus and go through school, whatever, my life had changed forever. Like I did not, because I didn't have any support. I had no support. It was a very awkward thing, even for my black girlfriends. Like no one, because at 14, no one knows how to deal with that. Like no one knew how to deal with it. I also wasn't really telling adults. It was just this energy of, what did you expect to happen? You know, like it was my fault for having interest in this person because of the complications. And it was immediately, I was aged. Immediately I felt like I was 25. Like at that time, I felt like I was very hurt. I was very angry. I shut down, and I went into, I completely shut down. I went into like full blown depression. Really for like the rest of high school. I had gained way more weight than I had originally because I just didn't care. I had missed most days of school, and I would literally walk to school, and people then saw me as like, people would be like, oh, what's wrong with her? Like genuinely, I would go through the halls. I wouldn't care what I wore. Like my mom even made me wear her clothes because she was just like, she could tell I didn't care about anything. But I would walk to school, and like this always hits me because, and there was a time that I would eat lunch in the bathroom as well for like a year. Because I didn't want to be in the lunchroom with anyone, or I didn't know what to do in my free periods. I could walk to school from where I had lived. It would be a walk, but I would take the long route, almost like subconsciously on purpose. Take the long route to school, and I would go to this coffee shop, and I would tell myself, I'm going to school today, and I would just end up sitting in the coffee shop for hours until the day was over. And you know, my parents' approach to it at the time, it was like at the moment of my life, and I think going back to needing something else, where I felt so alone. Like I did not care if I was here anymore. I just didn't have the guts or even the energy to do anything to myself. Like I literally didn't care. And I'm just grateful, honestly, to even be here, because thinking about that time, it was a dark, dark, dark time. And that was most of my high school experience. I purposely missed most of my senior experiences because of that. Some of my lights started to come back a little bit after senior year. And like I coped with a lot with humor, and like I always like to make other people feel happy. Like I love to see other people enjoy themselves, and I think this goes into, so I love to tell a joke that goes into the comedy skits. I love to like class and like whatever. And my acting classes really helped, having activities outside of school. But I remember me not wanting to go to prom, and my prom experience was horrible. My graduation was horrible. That boyfriend had gone to my prom because he was still dating another girl from my school. Just, it was really bad. So my first awakening to questioning the universe, why things are the way they are, are, not only in my life, but on a world scale, trying to understand racism.
Right.
If anyone can understand that, trying to like, you know, it started at 14 through that. And yeah, that's it. I know that was kind of long, but I just had to give that kind of like sense of like, we go through many awakenings that, of course, I can't say like, I never say, oh, it's my trauma that shaped me. It's like what I did with that, who I became in spite of everything. And that's for everyone. It's like who you become in spite of that. And I had a will of like, the will in me at that time. I don't really know if I don't remember praying at that time, whatever. But I honestly, what stopped me from leaving this earth was I know that how I was treated was wrong. And I think that's where some people, I want you to, like, people who have gone through childhood trauma and just devastating injustice towards them, at least hold on to the fact that there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance somewhere. There's no way she will go through something. And holding on to that fact of, I didn't want them to be right in terms of defining me, of what they believe a Black woman would be, how I should act. Like, what held me back was like knowing that if I did something, it would be, I'm the angry Black woman. It was like being like thrown stones at, and it's just like, I'm not going to let you win. That's what held like literally like stopped me from fully imploding. Was because I didn't want, and it really is weird because I'm talking about it, I'm kind of thinking of like the path of Christ, like in a weird way, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so many of us walk that. It's like, not just like me, but it's like the energy of kind of like, no, like I know that my goodness, I know my heart will win. In a sense. So I'm just going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to keep going through this until I see a light. And I saw the fucking light. And I believe that if you do, you'll see the light. It has to turn around. It has to turn around. And I think of either so many kids also who just go through difficult high school experience and bullying and traumatic stuff. It's like, please, I beg, like, I know it's like you want to retaliate or you want to like, you know, just become that monster that they've made you feel. But it's like, just keep going. I don't say put your head down. I don't know how else to say it, but just keep walking your path with the little faith that you have of knowing that there has to be some type of good coming your way. And I think that first awakening led to like, there's something else guiding me. But yeah.
Absolutely. It is. Thank you so much for sharing that powerful story. I was really hoping that we would be able to kind of digest that together because it does speak to so many experiences, and it's so unfortunate to have to be so confronted by your identity and to have, in a way, your childhood robbed from you in that sense. And like having like you're 14, you know what I mean? Like what tools do you have at 14 other than just trying to navigate being 14? And when you have so many additional layers to navigate through and only so many limited tools, it's so it's so impactful to hear you get to a place where you can talk about it and be on the other side of it, because that is the guidebook for someone else who might be experiencing that kind of, struggle and strife, especially when you're being a teenager is already hard in its own right. And then just to be confronted with your identity, or to be like isolated and disrupted because of other people's ideals of your identity is just like so complicated and so weighted. And being a Black woman and being a Black girl, even at that is just like, it's so magical and so powerful, and there's so much responsibility that it feels like it comes with, as much as I feel as though in my experience, like, just tried to navigate just being me, just being Lexi outside of, all of my identities. I just wanted to be myself. And it just felt like there was no room, and I had to really embrace like this is all I am. Everything I am is everything I am. And making peace with, healing through. And I know that feeling of hunkering down to just get through, to get to the other side. And I'm really proud of you and grateful that you're
Thank
still
you.
here. So thank you for still showing up and still showing in grace and power and allowing for that gumption that you have to just, take over, and knowing that like there is something else guiding us and there is something else that will get us to the other side. It could have really gone so many different ways, and
Yeah.
you chose even subconsciously to continue. Like your spirit and your soul knew that you had other things to do. You know what I mean? Like even if you
Yeah.
don't, even if you didn't know it in the moment, it's like your spirit knew, like I have bigger things to do. This is so
Yeah.
much more than this. Even if it feels like
Yeah.
the end of the world, there's so much more to this.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, that's what I was trying to explain for people, of like that little faith that you have,
mm-hmm.
that whether it's another being with you or that there's more to your story.
Yes.
That little faith will take you so far, even if you're dragging your feet.
Yeah.
Even if you're dragging your feet,
Yeah.
and even just going through times, like I went through depressive episodes earlier
Yeah.
this year, and,
Yeah.
just life in adulthood, the little faith of like, there's possibilities for
Yes.
happiness and a change.
Yes.
And it's like, my mindset now is, because after these awakenings I went through, my life always got better in some ways, and I can't tell you timeline. When people are going to, well, when is it going to get better?
Right.
Sometimes it took a while.
Right.
Sometimes it took a while. I'm not going to lie to you at all. But when it got better, it got really better. Like I was in a different world. And I think that's a rebirth. You go into different worlds. Every time you're down, it's like there has to be an up, and it will. But you can't let that down. You can't become that. Like you can't let your pain and everything define you. But I don't think there is an avoidance so of feeling it, and valid. My emotions at the time for feeling dehumanized was valid. It was a lesson to other people too, because as I'm walking through school, the way I look at it, if I see a child walking through school in gray sweatpants, they look like something is off. As an adult, pull that child aside. Are you okay? In school, the teachers as well, the counselors, no one did that. There were teachers where I would have arguments that in class, they saw what was happening. Our coaches, they saw what was happening. No one pulled me aside. And it's like the divine uses us all as lessons for people. I don't know if that was me being in that state, and I was so obviously something was wrong with me. And even with my parents, my parents didn't approach it. My mom did the best she could, but being Caribbean born, like that, there was no talks of depression at the time. There was no like her full approach to that was also like, well, you shouldn't be thinking about dating. Like that was her approach to it, and I have forgiveness, but it isn't right. Like it taught me at the time of like, I used to feel so much shame and upset of like, oh my God. But the way I look at it is like, how else would my response be?
Absolutely.
Like what at that time,
Absolutely.
so that is also, you're also a lesson for other people. There is a divine reason, even though I didn't enjoy that suffering. That also, like, I didn't enjoy it,
I
but
didn't love it. There's purpose.
No, but it's also a part of my journey for just being a greater person, because now, like, I am so sensitive. I'm just so sensitive to injustice. And I don't just mean of the Black show. I mean, like, I will sit and listen during what's happening in the world now. I have stayed up till 5 listening to other people in different countries talking to me about like whatever, people I don't know. And I've always been like that. From that, like I remember my first roommate in college, she was from China, and she was telling me about how Chinese people get treated. Like I will sit and listen. I have so much compassion. And I got to be honest with you. I think I'm a good-hearted person, but I don't know if I didn't go through that, that I would, like, let's say that relationship was amazing and everything. I don't think I would have this much depth. I really don't think so. I don't think I would, it was a part of my journey, and it makes me very conscious of, I do want children, of being a parent one day. Very conscious of signs and everything of like my kids, very aware and involved. And it did make me a better person.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think I completely agree with this. I mean, I often find like in healing spaces, we talk about like everything happens for a reason, and like that kind of feels like a band-aid response to a lot of things. But like when there is so much like proof, especially in your journey and your story, about like I found purpose out of what happened to me. I found purpose.
Yeah.
I've made meaning out of those things. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not to it really did deepen you and your human experience. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it did. I think it's really about what you make of it. And like
Mm-hmm.
things are going to happen. Life is unpredictable. Like you said, it's not this magical journey, and things will happen regardless. You know, things
Oh
are
yeah.
going to happen. But I think it is really about what you make of it. And that is
100%.
yeah, it's not just like, oh, like everything happens for a reason. And like, it's not like that. It's about really what you make of the things that are given to you, the cards that you're dealt. And
100%.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it really speaks again to that spirit of yours, and also that forward thinking of like, I want my children to be compassionate. I want my,
Oh yeah.
I want the people in my life to have learned from what I've experienced, so that like I can take something out of this and make something out of this. And hopefully
Yeah.
someone somewhere can hear this and feel a little bit inspired, or just have an inch more hope than they did before they heard from me, just
Yeah.
to keep going,
Absolutely.
because we all have something to either to learn and to share, so
Yeah.
it's so
Thank
impactful.
you.
It's so, so impactful. And I want to touch on this idea of taking your power back, because I really feel
Mm-hmm.
like that is your superpower, is taking your power back, even when your back is to the wall, even when it looks
Yeah.
like there is nothing left, even when, despite those feelings of just like listlessness, this just being floating in the ether of like nothingness, and like you having just that knowledge, that innate sense to just be like, I'm not going to let you get the better of me. Like, I'm not going to give
Yeah.
you what you want. I'm going to take what I need.
Yeah.
And I think that is so impactful. What can you say about, for someone that's kind of going through that work right now? Like, what can you say for that person to take their power back?
Well, I think, and that's something I've thought about for a while,
Yeah.
because even after, it's interesting. I had this story came to mind around 2019, when I was going through that big, like, another awakening.
Yeah.
I had feelings for someone very deeply, like childhood crush, like feelings for someone, and went through rejection with them, and again got another girl, whatever, chosen over me. And I had went through so many cycles of rejection in my life. And it felt like the universe was like, damn, like in a way, even with me, I guess, blowing up on TikTok, or like just opportunities working out for me, is like, okay, I'm really meant to transmute these experiences. Like, they really want me to work on my self-security here. Okay.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I think the way I look at it, speaking of, is like, I don't believe that there's anyone that could ever take away your power. And I say this with a grain of salt of just like, there are situations that we have felt powerless to, but I don't believe that there is anything on your journey for no reason.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe even the trauma that we go through, and I say this with a grain of salt, because there's people that are going through unspeakable things, and it's not right. It's me saying this does not make it right. But I do believe, like I said, in higher beings and higher plans. And as difficult as some trauma may be, I believe that the transformation from that pain is your awakening to your personal power. So I think that going into things, it's like, what do I say? I feel like there are already subconscious beliefs you have about yourself that make you feel powerless before it even happens. And that situation, the pain that happens, is to almost like rubbing alcohol on an open wound already.
Yeah.
It's like you have a Band-Aid on and there's a wound that's not healing. You put a Band-Aid over something, and it's like you put that's the rubbing alcohol that you put on it. It was already there.
Yeah.
These were the limited beliefs that were already there. So me having that boyfriend at 14, or going through these cycles of rejections, yes, it went directly from the abandonment wounds going on in my household already, from how, my father wounds. It went that was already there. They were already limited beliefs I had around women, around being Black. Like, there were so much that was already within me, even though I didn't wear it on my face.
Right.
And that was the rubbing alcohol that stung, but and it may sting for a while, but it's going to heal. So I don't, even though that was a situation that wasn't right, and I'm not bypassing the characters in my story,
Sure.
it was really all there to get me to awaken to what my power actually was. Yes. So they say, like, there's this thing in spirituality where people say, I call my power back. And I actually had someone, I remember when I first heard it, I was a bit conflicted by it. Okay. And then finally there was someone there were other conversations that related to why I was conflicted, because I think that if you go through a situation that has made you feel powerless, like, and you are working through healing, you don't ever have to call that energy back, because that energy wasn't even like, that energy was supposed to be left in the past. So it's like, let's say like I have an ex or whatever. Yeah. It's like, once that ex is out of my story, or I don't want you in my story anymore, I'm not going to call me back. I'm not supposed to have me back. I'm supposed to transform into new. It's a process of transformation. So whatever you took with you, whatever idea you took, you were supposed to take, because I don't need that. That was a part of me that was operating out of powerlessness. That was a part of me that didn't know better. That was a part of me that was operating out of a limited mindset. Yeah. And this was supposed to hurt to the point that forced me to transform. It was the right amount of pressure to get me to heal. So that's the way I kind of look at it, because it's like, life is rebirths, and I don't, the truth of the matter is like, just because that rejection or the pains that we go through, and there are certain things I pray that people never experience again in their life, but you will go through, you have to feel. Feeling is a part of the healing. You have to feel to transform. And whether it's this situation or another one, you're going to feel something. You're going to, you know what I mean? And it's, if you look at every single thing and be like, oh, it's taking away my power and whatever, you got to look at it in the fact that you are always here to unlock parts of yourself. You are always here to understand your best self and reach your best self. But there's also no best. Like, it's like, you're here in a life of self-discovery. Yes. You're in a path of self-discovery. Yes. And anything that happened in the past, you have to accept it and be grateful that you're here today and you have the opportunity to continue to transform. Yes. So that's the way I look at it. Like, I don't, call my power back. I don't whatever, because I know better now. Right. I know better now, and I'm learning more, so you are always in your power. Yes. I didn't say you are always in your freaking power. No one ever took your power away. Yes. It was just something on your journey to help you understand yourself better, have a greater relationship with yourself, and be a greater human being. Yes. That was it.
I absolutely love that perspective, and it's kind of adding a few different dimensions to things that I've experienced in my healing journey. And there were times where I didn't think I was going to make it. And I can revisit those moments and look back and think, like, my big nugget for one of the harder times in my life was like, you make it past this, you live past this day, like, you continue going. And that was like what my self then really needed to hear at the time. And it was like something I just I wasn't awoken to at that point. So when getting away from it and then revisiting it to be able to look at the bigger picture and say, like, hey, like, I know we're suffering in this moment, but we keep going. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the end. This is not how it stops. And I think shifting that perspective of like, someone has something over me or they've taken it away from me is really powerful, in the essence of like, I still am me. I am still evolving. I still have everything I need inside of myself. And I may feel a little rocked or a little raw or a little heavy or a little, jaded even, but I'm still me. And I think like the foundation is still there, and reminding people that they're still themselves despite these hefty things, and the creating of those depths and creating those levels of compassion and evolution. Because this, like you said, this is the human experience. We are here to learn. We are here to feel. Yeah. We are here to experience. We are here to evolve. And I love this idea of just reminding yourself, like, you are never lost. You are never forgotten. You are never, like, it may feel dark and it may feel heavy, but like you are never not a part of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I'd love to shift gears here a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and talk about this beautiful platform that you've amassed, it seems, overnight, and how you preserve what you have, how you continue to pour. Because I see you, girl. You are pouring, you are making content, you are sharing the word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so inspiring, but I often wonder, especially with people that have big platforms and are constantly putting themselves out into the world, how do you take care of yourself? What is your spiritual hygiene routine here, girl?
Speaking of that, I'll be honest with you. I'm still getting a hang of it.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you that I'm like, oh my God, I wake up and I drink some tea. No, I had a Red Bull this morning.
Period. Yeah.
That is not true. I did do my little walk, my little hot girl walk. I did a little that.
You are a hot girl. You are a hot girl. You are a hot girl. Oh, I love that.
Not outside. And I don't know. I haven't been outside in a minute. No, I'm very human.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I'm still actually just posted on my mutual friends. I was having a little moment yesterday about survival mode because I was like, oh my God, I have all this readings to do, whatever. And it's really interesting because yesterday someone, another creator, they were like, how do you manage? And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't really think about these things.
Yeah.
I think, listen, in terms of self-care right now, what self-care looks like to me, because I think self-care kind of looks different at every stage of your life. Oh, yes. What I've been lacking is social experiences and really taking care of myself is remembering that there's a world outside of my world. Like there is a world, like my world has been digital and trying to get a physical. So like tonight, I had someone, and I know it's my guide's been invited me to some show that she's doing. I actually had joined a social club in New York, which was a step for me. Yes. To like meet other adults, and I met some cool people. Nice. And I'm very close. I mean, I have friends, but they're all I have had a habit, and I don't know what it is, if this is some type of healing, of meeting people that are long distance, very close. It's a thing with me. Yeah. So it's like I can travel to my friends, and I do, and me and my cousin are very close. She's like my best friend, but she's also the only person I've ever done anything with. So right now, self-care for me means making plans, going out, make sure I'm connecting more, even with family. So that's what it looks like to me. Yeah. But I was telling someone this yesterday. My guys are probably really annoying with me because I gotta be honest, I'm not really, I'm a Taurus. I'm a very comfortable person. I don't really, I'm forcing myself to go on my nails done. I don't like massages. Okay. I don't really, someone had even bought me a spa package. Yeah, and you're like, no, thank you. For my birthday. I had yet to use it. I don't really, I am happy. Get me some good food and let me get on my couch. And that's what's a part of self-care is for me. Like, I just like to relax in my home. But I'm very human. I don't really... I mean, okay, so I listen to, in terms of, I guess, my healing practice, I listen to subliminal affirmations, every night. Like, that's what I do to keep my mindset right. Yeah. I don't really, I pray usually in the morning or night, but I'm also very tapped in all the time. I was going to say even when I'm outside, I'm always tapped in. So I don't really, I'm here, but, I live in Hogwarts. I just really I really do. My head is I don't see the world the way a lot of people see the world. I will see that tree talking to me, and it's so real. I'm not even trying to so I'm just always in tune. So that doesn't really turn off, So I think in terms of I also was going to just say, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in New York. So in terms of work, unfortunately, I don't know another friend of mine that's a New Yorker that work isn't ingrained into them from very young, which sucks, but it's truth where it's I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's I'm kind of always on. Got it. Okay. But in terms of social media and I guess management and posting, I can't tell. it's just such a, I think when certain things are made for someone,
Yeah.
it just is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is
Absolutely.
just a natural content, is just a
Yeah.
natural flow for me.
It
But
is.
also just when I have my messages and a
Yeah.
channel thing, like, I genuinely feel that.
Yes.
Like, there's times I have messages, and I don't know, seeing my one of my friend who's an influencer, she like a pretty big influencer, she laughs all the time because she's like, you know, the first video I saw of you, you were in your bed in your bonnet.
Yep.
Just
Yep. Yep.
But that's true. Sometimes y'all gonna see me so glam, whatever, but I'm being genuine. Like, if I got a message, I'm gonna put it out there. And
yes.
That's what it is. You know, I don't curate nothing.
Right.
Like, I just flow,
right.
you know? But yeah.
I love that. I love that about you because it does, like, I see you as like this ethereal goddess energy, like this just like larger than life persona. I really do. And like even before getting to know you and like feeling like this connection with you, I was like, this girl is so beyond life. Like she is so much more. And like, but it's, I love that this duality of like, I'm just a human being who had a Red Bull this morning. And I think it makes it approachable because again, like this is another thing that's kind of been throwing throughout this podcast is like this idea of like what spirituality, quote unquote, is supposed to look like, quote unquote.
Yeah.
When we're all literally just human beings, ordinary beings, just floating through this, trying to figure out, we live on a floating rock, trying to figure it out. And I love the honesty. I love that you can be in your bonnet, in your bed, being like, someone's going to get this message. This is my best Natija. She said, I don't know who this message is for, but I know it's for somebody. Check in with your guides. This is a message for somebody. And I'm like, and I love that. And I love this approachable nature. I love this ability to just make it accessible and honest and human and imperfect. And it's not about the best being the best kind of healer or the most or the one or whatever. It's about just being and showing up with 100%. What you have. Because I feel like there's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of fear in showing up like, oh, well, everybody else. And like, again, sorry, another note about the self-care thing. Self-care is not going to look the same for everybody. I know they try to market it and commodify it and make it out to be bubble baths and face masks and you know, whatever. Sometimes it's not that. And it's not going to look the same for everybody. I know it's very like trendy and it's a very marketable place for self-care. And so it does look like a one size fits all experience. But I've come to realize that like sometimes a self-care act is just sitting on my couch eating some Cheetos or, you know, or whatever 100%. It is, whatever the case may be. But it's like, it doesn't have to look like this like clean, healthy girl aesthetic. It can be, what do I need? What do I need right now? What does my body need? What does my soul need? What does my heart want? And that can be just self-care on its own. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, it's fine. No, everything we were saying was on point. I don't even remember what I was I don't remember. No, I really don't remember. Oh, I remember. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say in terms of, because a lot of people tell me about my confidence, but like I had said, growing up, I always felt quirky in nature. Like I always felt, and I hate having to title that, but that's the only way I think people can understand because genuinely I think we're all very like who we are in our rooms and everything is like, I don't know, like, you know, there's so many aspects of us, but for me, I guess quirky or like neurodivergent, like I would talk to myself, like all these, like, I just felt like there was something extra happening. Like I felt like the rest of the world was so normal. Yeah. And another thing was just like, I just could not focus in school for the life of me. I was very jittery, ADHD, like very like whatever. So also like social media and my platform is genuinely very healing for me. It's very good for my mental health. And I just, it's my creative platform. This is what I've learned, let me tell you, I've gotten in trouble. I've gotten in trouble on social media. That is the thing. What I've learned with like, okay, Natija, some thoughts, let's process it and keep it in your head. But it's more of like an excited, like I get very excited by it because I can be free and I love creative expression because so much of my life I just felt wrong. No, I really just felt like something was wrong with me. I felt the way, because people would always like, especially in that experience, like, I mean, before that, you know, I always, like I love fashion so much. And in that time of self-discovery, like I would wear certain things in school and people always have something to say about my, like, I always attracted attention. That's the thing, like not even in a like whatever, like beautiful, like, but growing up, I always attracted, and I don't know I'm not even trying to be cocky. I think it's just something with my face or what. I've always said I think I look like an animated character or something where there's something where I attract attention. People either poke fun of me growing up or something, like they can't, I don't know if my name, but I think certain people just have certain natural blessings. And that is something with me. People, even teachers, they can't ignore me. Like, and in school young, like it wasn't always like, oh, nice attention. It was kind of like I said, people poking fun at me. And if I wanted to experiment, like there was one time I was really experimenting. I would wear flowers in my hair. I would wear certain dresses. And oh my God, I wore like 2 different color bands. But I was like real awkward with it though. One was like a high top. Like when I say I was like Zoe Deschanel, like I'm new, like that's who I like am. And even now, like I had friends, they were like, oh my God, what is Natija? I'm that person. Like I will embarrass myself. It's gonna happen. And I'm not trying to do anything. I literally think I'm supposed to be. I think it's very healing for people to tap into their inner child. Like no matter what my outfit is and how bomb I look, I'm telling you something's gonna be amiss. I'm telling you my wig is going to slip back. Something is going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, no, I'm so serious. So you. I don't even try to be anything. So that is why I show up in my body, because it doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to be anything. My whole life, I'm telling you, the universe has I've been in embarrassing situations. I have been, I'm being so real with y'all, crying in inconvenient times, even TMI. Like there was this whole, this is coming to mind. Like when I say embarrassing, my MMA, there's a whole Parents' Day, like a graduation, whatever. I let the biggest one rip. Like I'm being so real during the freaking thing. And I did not try. I was like, are you kidding? Like the universe purposely puts me in situations where you have to like yourself. Like if you don't like yourself, it's gonna be really bad. You have to be confident, you know? So I had no choice. No shame. That's why no choice. I just had no choice. Like it doesn't matter. I can't win. So that's
I have to say, you are healing so much of my teen self, my tween self in this conversation. You saying like, for so long, I just felt wrong that I just like had to find ways to make myself feel right. And that spoke to me, girl. That speaks to me. And like this idea of also like always calling attention, like even if like you're not even trying, it's just you are. And like I felt that way. Like you've given words to a lot of things that I have felt in my life that I had never had vocabulary for. And this is something I'm going to walk away with for a long time and really sit with and being like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like I drew attention even if I wasn't trying to, and you just embrace it at this point, and it may come off as a mess and you just need to express and be and let your wig slip back and let it out, you know? One of my girlfriends and I were joking about, like, when I do Reiki, when I'm channeling and I'm doing Reiki, I burp a lot. Yeah. And there's a lot of like, and there's a lot of like, just like releasing. And a girlfriend of mine, I just was talking about this with her, and she was like, I was at another person's house and her son like had farted in the room, and the mom like looked at my friend and went, spiritual release. Like,
oh, that's so cute.
And it's like, you know what, like if you had to let it out. And I just appreciate that, and the honesty and the humanity and just the normalcy of it all, and the 2, you know, high top low top Vans and everything just being like, let me express, let me just stand in this and be my full self. And it shows, it really does. And people see that. And I think that's why you have so much success in what you do, is that you just show up in such fullness and in such unapologetic confidence. And I know it took a lot to get to this place, but it looks so effortless. And I thank you for showing up. I thank you for answering the call. I thank you for, you know, really sharing the message, regardless of, you're like, I'm here, I'm showing up, this is it, hello, you're gonna get this message. And I think that's fucking beautiful and amazing. So thank you so much. Oh, I truly, thank you. I'm like an honored to be in community with you. You are everything. Aww, everything and then some. I wanted to give you an opportunity for, as we wrap this episode up here, if there is anything that you wanted to shamelessly plug in this moment, just something, if you have something in the works, if something you're excited about and you want to tell the listeners here and the followers and everybody, if there's something you're ready to announce, I want to let you just kind of take it away and share your bliss.
Yeah, so definitely my book divination. It's actually already up. You could find it in the link of my socials at oh.nati on Instagram, or on TikTok at ohnati. Yes, on TikTok. The book divination I'm really excited about because, and like excited honestly for the collective, because that is something that I wanted to create for a while, and I got inspiration from someone else that also did her own version of it. But it's digital, and I like to keep it digital because I want this to be something people can use in a go. So it's like literally you just close your eyes and you scroll, and it's my edition 1. I have saved channel messages that I have not shared over years. And I plan to do different editions of this book divination. And it's about like 111 pages each. And it's like you get to scroll. I want it to be kind of like an encyclopedia, like something that a library that people can refer to. And it has channel messages. Like, let's say you see an angel number, you don't know what it means, you can like scroll. And I'm just really excited for people. I know a couple people have gotten it to get it, because it really is helpful, a helpful guide. So that book divination, and for right now, it's better to reach out to me on my socials for services. I do have my website link in my bio, but I may be changing that pretty soon. So just refer to the snip feed link, because that will always be updated in my bios. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I may have I've been really guided to write more. So I may have something pretty cool coming that's been in my drafts for a while. And I thought about this morning. So I will be sharing that at the time. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. And my YouTube, go ahead and check out if you feel drawn, but everything's going to be in the snip feed link here. Perfect. Channel messages everywhere.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Yes. Channel messages everywhere. You are the channeled message queen everywhere. We will put everything that we, to find you and make it easy for everyone in the show notes, and make sure that we have everything linked and ready for you to go. I just want to take a moment here. I am a lover girl through and through, and want to take a moment of gratitude to just let you know how grateful and how powerful your words have been, and how honored I am to share this space with you, and for you making time out of your schedule to do this with us today. It's just been such a gift. You are a gift. I am honored by our friendship, and I'm so glad that our paths have crossed in this universe, on this timeline, and I hope that we can continue to build this beautiful connection out, and just know that you have a sister in me, and I am so looking forward to all the beautiful things that this journey has to come for you, and so proud of you, so excited for you. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for holding space for me. Yes. I know I can talk a lot. So thank you for holding space.
We love it.
And yeah, just thank you so much for not only for me, but also just for being a healing space and all, and for women, for Black women, for people, because I think the education that you do share is something that everyone needs to be aware of. So thank you so much. And thank you for following your calling.
Thank you.
Thank you for following your calling as well, and continuing to grow and spread light in this world, and being a light worker and being an angel yourself. So thank you. Thank you. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for to hear your other podcast as well.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to have this journey and take it off together, and keep making this a place for people to, expand and be a megaphone for other platforms. That's always what I've wanted and intended for this space. So it's really beautiful to get to do that. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your beautiful day, and we will speak to you soon.
Yeah, see you guys too.
Okay, bye, honey.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into this beautiful episode. It was such a healing space and just a general overarching warm hug to our inner teens, our inner tweens. I am so grateful for Natija being here and showing up in just fullness and honesty. I really am so grateful for you tuning into this episode. I'm so grateful to be in community with her as I am to be in community with you. And always remember to feel your feelings, check in with your people, and remember you always had the power. Take What You Need, the podcast was created by Lexi Bordeaux and Madeline Doss. Original music and production by Madeline Doss. This is a Bad Cat Audio podcast.